So, why do people become foster carers? Well, you're watching this film, so already you've shown an interest in trying to do something to help children from difficult backgrounds. Now, just like the children, foster carers come from all different walks of life and all different circumstances. In this film, you're going to meet some very special people who are going to tell you why they became foster carers, what it means to them, and how long they've been fostering for.
We have been foster carers now for about 8 years. We were approved 8 years ago.
I've been fostering for 15 years.
And I have been for 6 or 7.
We've been fostering now for nearly 4 years, and we've had about 15 children.
Yeah, approximately about that time.
I got into fostering by just doing what I was good at, being a mum. That was it. Worked with one particular social worker, and she says to me, "You've made a difference. Make a difference again for somebody else." I said, "I can't do that."
For me, it was getting to 50, realising my own 2 sons were growing up and were probably going to leave home. And I thought, what am I going to do with my life? I thought I could offer a home to children and that I'd enjoy looking after them. So I applied, thinking I might get turned down.
We feel quite strongly about children being placed near to the schools they currently go to, near to family and friends. We want their lives to have some consistency. They're being removed from families, so we like the fact that they might be able to continue to go to the same school and maybe keep some of the same friendships.
So having made the decision to become a foster carer, you know you're going to have to go through the selection process, and that's not going to be easy. Why don't we hear from Jenny and Nick to find out how it was for them?
A little bit scary at the beginning because my children are all grown up, and it was like starting from scratch again.
I really feel, although the selection process is quite detailed and at times intrusive, it didn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's the children that count.
It is the children that count. These children could have come from homes where they were abused or neglected, or even come from families that didn't know how to care for them. They're going to display behaviours that we might find confusing and not understand. So what should you expect as a carer?
Our first placement we had was a little 6-year-old girl, and she is actually still with us. When she came to us, she was talking to us with the tiniest little voice. She was very, very quiet, very timid, and now she has grown with confidence. She is playing instruments, she sings in our church, and she's doing really, really well.
I remember saying to the boys when they came and they wanted to stay, and it wasn't definite then, well, you do realise you've got older foster carers. Will you not be embarrassed by having us standing outside the school gate looking like your grandparents? No. No.
We must have fostered 23, 3 of them who are still with us. The shortest one was 1 night. There, I think, have been 2 placements that were 1 night. Most of them go on a lot longer. I think our longest was 2 little girls who came to us, 2 sisters. One stayed 2.5 years and the older sister stayed 3.5 years.
Doesn't matter where they've come from, whatever they've been through, there's a lovely child in everyone.
You've got to stick with them, because a lot of the children with greater problems are pushing you to reject them. That's all they've known in their lives. So I reckon a bit of naughty behaviour occasionally is okay.
As a parent, you watch your children grow daily, and when their behaviour changes, you adjust yourself accordingly. When you have a foster child in your care, the level of naughtiness might be higher than that you experience with your own children. But support is there for you through the fostering team.
We do get a lot of training and it's all been really very beneficial.
They're always on the end of the phone if you have any problems. There's always someone you can talk to.
Regardless of what support is on offer, there may be challenges.
You have to be prepared for good times, but more so for the odd hiccup, that no child is perfect, fostered or birth.
It has been hard, has been challenging, because as a single carer you're juggling so much stuff. So you're juggling the children that you're looking after, because you've got to get them to contact, you've got to get them to school, you've got to get your own children to school.
We've had a couple of phone calls during the night to say we've got somebody coming, can we drop them off, and social worker arrive in the middle of the night with a baby or a young child with nothing, just in the clothes they stand up in.
I also think that you have to be able to love the children that you are going to commit to.
It is hard, it's challenging, it's hard work, but you know,
And it's very
but we
rewarding.
get so much from
Yes.
fostering.
So the biggest reward of fostering for us, I think, is watching the children grow and develop.
Yep.
And overcoming whatever problems they bring with them and helping them to have a normal family life.
One of the things about fostering was the impact it had on our family. Our two own boys realised then what a positive, good childhood they had. And we realised then what a good childhood they had. I think a lot of our parenting in the beginning was accidental. But now, when our boys see what some of the children that come to us, what they've experienced, they've learned so much from it, and I think they will be better parents themselves because of it.
You get your rewards when you see a child thriving, you get your rewards when a child's behaviour changes.
For Sandra and Nigel, one particular memorable event highlighted the difference they made to a foster child in their life.
He came out of school one day and he looked at us. We were standing outside waiting for him, and the arms went up in the air and he said, "I love my life." You couldn't ask for more, could you?
The length of time that any child comes to stay with you will vary from child to child, and one of the most difficult parts of the job is when they move on. But in this process, your role is immeasurable.
Just preparing them for life, and then what they make of it is down to them.
Children will move on to placement or independent living, whereas I have had a few that have done that, and now they still come back for their tea. They'll come back and just have a chin wag with you. I've got a young lady who went and had a baby who'll pop up and stay the weekend. So your extended family will get bigger and bigger and bigger, but on a very happy and positive note.
The hardest thing, I think, is when the children, well, it's hard in a way, when the children move on to adoption. It's quite painful for us, but it's a wonderful thing for them, and we have to keep in mind that our sadness is about us losing the children, but at the same time we have to convey to them we're very happy that they're getting a new fresh start.
So you're still interested in being a foster carer, that's great. Now, what advice would our foster carers want to give you at this stage?
Well, the first piece of advice I'd probably give if anybody considering fostering would be to think long and hard about what they're contemplating, because it has a huge impact on their life, and not just their life, but their family, their extended family, and their friends and their relations.
Before you commit, look at every side of it and make sure that this is the right thing for you.
Get as much information as is possible. There are
And from
groups,
people who've done it, really. I think they're the
from
best
foster
people to
carers,
speak to, yeah.
It's not for everyone. We don't want to put people off, but we also want people to be aware of the fact that the person that will benefit from fostering are the children, and the children must come first. If you think that you can't do that, then don't go there.
The commitment to a foster child has to be wholehearted, but whilst we know it's rewarding, it's also hard work.
Fostering is working. You know, I could be stacking Tesco shelves all day, but instead I'm at home looking after the children.
I actually worked in a spa, which was a very glamorous job before I started fostering, a job that I really enjoyed doing. But now I actually go around with probably baby milk on my clothes, and I wouldn't give it up for the world. I absolutely adore this job.
It's a way of life, and there's so many children out
An
there.
emotional roller coaster, I think.
Yes,
Put that
there's
as.
so many children who need families and who need stability, and not enough foster carers.
Wow.
And if I could have a whole house full, we'd do it, wouldn't we?
Yep. Yep. In a heartbeat.
As time goes on, the more children we have, the more training we have. Yeah.
The more we all benefit in lots of ways.
So everybody should give it a go.
I spent most of my childhood in children's homes, so I more than anybody know how important it is to have a kind, supportive family home for children to live in. So if you really have got space in your heart and your home, please consider being a foster carer. Finally, let's hear from Sandra and her foster child to find out what fostering means to both of them.
Nigel and I had a letter from one of our two boys. It was left by the bed, and I picked it up, and I thought you'd like to hear what it says so that you can see what makes it all worthwhile.
All my life I've been moved to different care homes, and one of them wasn't very nice. But now we have been moved with Sandra and Nigel. They are the nicest people I've ever met. They can get a bit bossy, but they are very nice. Nigel has got loads of hair and is the best at every job he does. Sandra has got lovely thin hair, and she does a good job keeping us on good form, and they have a good personality. I love them so much.
This had me in tears, made you a bit dewy-eyed as well. But when you get her like that, it means the world. I thought you'd like to hear it. Good luck, everybody.
For more information on fostering children and young people, please contact us now. The details are on the screen.